We've got some major injury updates to get to that circle around Julius Randle, Mitchell Robinson, OG Anunoby, Isaiah Hartenstein, Donte DiVincenzo, as well as Bojan Bogdanovic. The Knicks, they return to action on Thursday, and they need to get healthy. And I need you to do your part. If you want the Knicks to be healthy for the second half of the season to make a run at the top seed in the Eastern Conference, hit that thumbs up icon right now. Don't jinx it. You're watching Knicks Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. Let's get into it. According to Tom Thibodeau, Julius Randle is doing very well overall, has not yet been cleared for practice, and he is meeting all of the markers and is moving around pretty well. This was an encouraging update for Randle, who separated that shoulder at the end of January, had a 2 to 3 week timeline as to when he was going to be looked at again by doctors. And according to reports, he already wants to get back on the practice court and get ready to play basketball, but it may be still a couple more weeks. Fred Katz of The Athletic, one of the best beat reporters that they have, said this: there's growing optimism inside the Knicks that a Randle return will come with time remaining in the regular season. Randle did separate that shoulder on January 27th. It was a 2 to 3 week timetable when he was going to be reevaluated, so we should have plenty of time to come back with a couple of games, if not a couple of weeks left in the regular season, as the NBA playoffs do not start until April 20th. And if the New York Knicks want to do what they want to do, if they want to achieve what they want to achieve in the playoffs this year, they are not just going to need Julius Randle, they are going to need him healthy, and they are going to need him to be productive, because we all know that Randle is the biggest X factor on this team. But outside of just what they need him for the playoffs, they need him back right now. There is too much of a burden that Jalen Brunson is having to carry night in and night out, and it honestly scares me, and I feel like an injury could be coming his way. Julius Randle just brings another option to score the basketball every single possession down to help Jalen Brunson. It takes focus away from him, and on top of that, he's a multi-time All-Star, multi-time All-NBA player, and the Knicks are better when Randle is on the basketball floor. So hopefully number 30 can continue to get healthy and be back out there as soon as possible, because the Knicks, they've got a couple of tough games coming up here pretty soon, and they're going to need him out there as soon as possible. If we get any updates, though, on Julius or any of the players that we're talking about on today's video, we're going to get you guys another video breaking it down. So subscribe and turn your notifications on for free, informative, entertaining content on your New York Knicks every single day. From Randle to OG Anunoby. According to reports, OG has no target date to return, but he for sure wants to be back during the regular season. A reporter asked him yesterday at the media availability session at the practice facility, do you have optimism that you will be back prior to the end of the regular season? And this was his response. Yeah, for sure. People took that as if Anunoby didn't really know if he was going to be back. I took the facial expression and the way he said it as, yeah, I'm definitely going to be back, and it may be sooner rather than later. Remember, it was February 8th when Adrian Wojnarowski said this: breaking, New York Knicks forward OG Anunoby had surgery to remove a loose bone fragment in his right elbow and will miss a minimum of 3 weeks. Procedure is considered minor, and he's expected to resume basketball activities in 3 weeks. February 8th, 3 weeks. Of course he's going to be back in the regular season. And according to Fred Katz, doctors will be reevaluating OG around March 1st, and that's what we've been telling you the timetable is for this injury for quite some time. And that is great news, because when OG Anunoby was on the floor in the 14 games with the New York Knicks, they had the best starting lineup net rating across the association. They were the number one defense in the league, and they had an 11-game win streak and were playing like a top team. When OG gets back, I'm so excited to see this team play with him, as well as Robinson and Randle and Bogdanovic and everybody else on this roster. Hopefully Anunoby can get back on the court soon. I don't think it'll take much longer than maybe the beginning of March. Another injury update on the big fella, Mitchell Robinson. According to reports, his boot is off. Remember, he had to have ankle surgery. He's shooting on the court, but still no running and jumping as of yet. We told you guys last week that we had heard that Mitchell Robinson will resume on-court basketball activities following the All-Star break, and here he is doing just that. Not sure exactly when he's going to be back on the floor, as he's going to have to get his conditioning back, as he's missed 2 months of basketball. So it may take a little bit of a longer time for that, but it's already good news. We've seen videos of him working out with the trainers. He has his boot off and he's able to walk around. I'm sure he'll start to do some running here pretty shortly. One thing that I do think it is important to note is the New York Knicks do not need Mitchell Robinson to come back and be that guy that's playing 30-plus minutes a night. Isaiah Hartenstein has emerged as not just one of the best players on this Knicks roster, but one of the best big men in this league. He has been absolutely special. We have an injury update on Hartenstein coming up around the corner, but I don't even know if the Knicks will need Mitchell Robinson to be a starter. I think he can come off the bench, let Hartenstein eat up about 28 to 30 minutes, and then Mitchell Robinson hovers anywhere around 18 to 20 minutes per night. And when he comes in, ideally, I would like it to be off the bench, and he just absolutely dominate those second-string centers on the glass and continue to be a menace when it comes to blocking shots. That's just my opinion. I want to hear from you, though. Who do you think should be the starter when Hartenstein and Mitchell Robinson are both back healthy? Should Mitch get his starting job back, or should Hartenstein remain as the starter, considering the starting five of Hartenstein, Randle, Anunoby, Donte, DiVincenzo, and Jalen Brunson have the #1 net rating in the league? Let me know what you think. Type the jersey number of the player you want to see starting down below. We'll get to an update around DiVincenzo, Bogdanovic, and the other injured Knicks players coming up around the corner. But make sure you guys are hooked up with our proud sponsor, Prize Picks. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS, and they will give you a $100 deposit match. Prize Picks is the #1 daily fantasy sports app in North America. It's easy and it's fun. All you do is create a lineup of 2 to 6 players, and you simply choose more or less on their projected stat line. And it's not just the NBA and it's not just the NFL that you could play Prize Picks. NHL, college basketball, soccer, the PGA Tour, and so much more. Check them out. PrizePicks.com/CLNS, promo code CLNS. It's daily fantasy sports made easy and makes watching games and events so much more fun. And anytime you can win some money and take it out of your account whenever you want to, that makes it even better. Check them out. PrizePicks.com/CLNS, promo code CLNS, $100 deposit match. Good news on the injury front for Isaiah Hartenstein, Donte DiVincenzo, and Bojan Bogdanovic. All these 3 players, they missed games leading up until the All-Star break, and it sounds like they will return to action this Thursday. Isaiah Hartenstein, he returned to practice, and it is good news. Since he became a starter for this team, he's averaging 8.3 points per game, 11-plus rebounds, and 2+ assists. What he's been able to do, not just on the defensive end and the glass, on the offensive end, adding more spacing, not as a shooter, but as a playmaker and a constant dribble handoff threat, and the ability to make an 8-foot push shot from inside the lane has really made this offense more dynamic, and I can't wait for him to be back. Sounds like he will be back this Thursday, as well as the big ragu, Donte DiVincenzo. Missed that final game against the Orlando Magic, was dealing with a hamstring injury that he had aggravated in that loss. Shout out to the refs against the Houston Rockets. But getting him back on the floor, pairing him alongside Jalen Brunson in the backcourt is only going to be good things for the New York Knicks. He's been better than I even thought he was going to be when I gave the signing an A. I thought he was going to be great. He's been better than that. And he's been outstanding since he's been inserted into the starting lineup. If you did a blind resume test, and I told you there was a starting shooting guard in the NBA that was averaging 16.5 points per game, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, and better than 42% from 3 on over 8.5 attempts from downtown per night, you would be like, this is one of the best shooting guards in the NBA, and the Knicks had one of the best backcourts in the NBA. And that's the way we need to start talking about Donte DiVincenzo. It's not just a cool, cute story anymore. The guy is a primetime player, and he needs the respect that he has earned throughout this season. He has been outstanding as a member of the New York Knicks. Shout out to the Nova Knicks. Bojan Bogdanovic has been a member of the Knicks for just 2 games, but he was already snake-bitten by the injury bug that has been plaguing this team. He was dealing with that calf injury, according to reports prior to the trade, was forced to miss 2 games with the Pistons because of that, so maybe it was just precautionary holding him out of the lineup. But the reason they traded for him is for him to be able to score the basketball while Jalen Brunson is off the floor. I believe he can do that, but he's got to be healthy to do just that. Whether it's Bogdanovic, DiVincenzo, Hartenstein, Randle, Anunoby, Robinson, whoever it is, half the roster, the Knicks need to get healthy. The break is over. You're now playing basketball, hopefully for the next 4 months, and hopefully competing in the Eastern Conference Finals, and you're letting the chips fall where they may. But a reason they need to get healthy is because they have fallen down the standings. They were at one point, less than a month ago, the number 2 seed in the Eastern Conference, and that is still within striking distance. They have just one less win, than the Cleveland Cavaliers, but they have 5 more losses. And if they want to get into a top 2 or a top 3 seed, they got to start stacking some W's. And if they want to avoid falling out of hosting a home court series in round 1, they got to pick it up because the 76ers are right behind them, as well as the Indiana Pacers, and these next 10 games are not going to be easy. You have to play a playoff team in the Sixers and the Celtics. Then you get a bye week against the Detroit Pistons. Then a tough West Coast trip against the Pelicans, or a tough couple of home games against some West Coast teams with the Pelicans and the Warriors. Then you got a playoff preview potentially against the Cavs. Then Trae Young and the Hawks. They have struggled mightily against Paolo Banchero and the Orlando Magic. And then you close out these next 10 games with back-to-back home games against the Philadelphia 76ers. You got to win at least 7 of these next 10 games if you want to continue to stay at the top of the East. I want to ask this question, though, before we bounce on out of here. We always talk about the Knicks are good. They're going to be healthy. But we haven't seen this team healthy. So we're always just projecting and kind of just guessing at this point, right? So let's do it one more time. The Knicks are the blank best team in the NBA when healthy. I want to hear from you down below. For me, I truly believe they are the 4th best team in the NBA when they have everybody healthy. I'll continue to put the Denver Nuggets at number 1. Shout out to the banner. I've got the Boston Celtics number 2, and I've got the Los Angeles Clippers number 3. I could even be convinced that the Clippers are the 2nd best team and the Celtics are 3rd, and I've got your New York Knicks at the 4th best team in the league when healthy. And the reason because of that is because when you stack up the top 10 players on the Knicks against every other team, all 29 other teams in this league's top 10 players, I don't think there's another team that has more talent. Brunson, Chenzo, Bogdanovic, Anunoby, Randle, Robinson, Hart, Burks, Achua, and Hartenstein. This team is deep, but it does not matter unless they are healthy. You don't want to limp into the playoffs. I would rather be healthy and be a 6 seed than hurt and be a 3 seed. You need to be at full strength when the playoffs roll around in April, and then let the chips fall where they may, and let's let Captain Clutch Jalen Brunson lead us to the promised land. Make sure you guys are following me over on social media. I'm tweeting about the Knicks every day, and I'm posting about them as well on Instagram. At Marshall Green is at Marshall Green _ is the handle on both. Hit me up over there, and let's go Knicks.